Yo everyone, Northwood recently hosted a live stream of SCP-SL devs and partners playing the game with a special guest.
Cheeto.
No, they don't have the budget for that.
There's no time to explain! I have contained Markiplier inside your phone screen!
Yeah, there we go. Anyway, this stream ended in a little bit of a surprise, showing a new teaser titled Tooth and Nail. This teaser didn't give us too much, but the implications of it could be big. Let's investigate, shall we? This little mystery can be traced back to a community post made on Northwood's YouTube channel stating,
"Records indicate that you're familiar with SCP, and as you know, could you inform me more about the object's history?"
We know this is connected as the teaser picks up the conversation right where it left off, where the person being interrogated replies,
"It was kind of, well, remarkably uninteresting back when it was held in Site 45. Shortly after the sea breeze collapse, they found it deep in the sunken superstructure. Site 12 recorded it, like they do most things, and it was sent to Site 44 as its new home."
The interrogator is inaudible, but what the interrogee says next suggests that whatever anomaly is being talked about, it's been observed to have new anomalous properties not previously seen before. We then end off the interview with the interrogee pondering about something strange they've noticed.
"I know that Site 02 is known for altered objects, but, and forgive me if I speak out of line, are you sure it wasn't altered here?"
Something interesting to note is that whatever this is was originally held in Site 45 and it didn't try to escape during the raid of the site. We'll get back into what this could mean later. Now that we got the interview out of the way, let's try to get a bearing on our surroundings. Something that immediately strikes the view in this wide shot is the graffiti painted on the wall, with the words E11 aren't us being clearly visible. I'm honestly not sure what to make of that. Is it possible that the Mobile Task Force Epsilon 11 designated Nine-Tailed Fox aren't human? Well, maybe. We know that MTF units in SCP lore can vary in their contents, with one being tasked with guarding a lake, while another is the fragmented pieces of a god. However, in SCP lore, I don't believe it's ever hinted at that the Epsilon 11 is anything superhuman, so I don't personally think this is it. My theory, is that the Epsilon 11 we know aren't part of the Foundation. Not entirely, anyway. What leads me to believe this? Firstly, the wording of this message. E11 aren't us. Who's us in this situation? The Chaos Insurgency? Yeah bro, we know. We don't need this graffiti in our facility to let us know that. It makes the most sense that whoever wrote this is speaking from the POV of the Foundation, letting his peers know that the people who are coming to save them aren't really who they say they are. But then, who are they? Well, it's my belief that a majority of SCP-SL's MTF aren't MTF at all, and are, instead, GOC, or the Global Occult Coalition. Let's look at the facts. In Echoes from the Veil 2 and some YouTube community posts, we can learn that the suits the Mobile Task Force in-game use are pretty old, being in their prime 40 years ago in the 1980s. These suits have, and I quote,
"They experienced combat against anomalies that could rewrite your DNA just by thinking it, and won."
On top of this, the voice in the video, Bregman, brings this up.
"Some may question their history and whether or not they truly belong here with us."
With these two statements combined, it paints the picture that some other anomaly-fighting group of interest owned these suits prior to the Foundation. So, okay, that's cool. They're using super old GOC gear. Does that really mean they're not part of the Foundation? No, of course not. That's where Echoes from the Veil 3 comes in. Echoes from the Veil 3 lets us know that the Foundation in SCP-SL's universe is not doing too hot.
"No, it's not my fault. You and the rest of the Council stand idly by while we are the ones actively fighting to preserve mankind. The Foundation is still being massacred."
It also lets us know that Bregman, which is the current assistant director of ETRA, aka Emergent Threat Tactical Response Authority, is probably not originally tied with the Foundation, with him saying things like, "We are the ones actively fighting to preserve mankind, and maybe you want another occult war? No? Then I suggest you remember why I'm here."
You failed to protect your people.
It seems like Bregman is a sort of median for the Foundation and GOC, further supported by him having a document on his PC seemingly written by the GOC, as seen in this paragraph. The video ends with Bregman saying,
"We need soldiers. We need weapons. We need reinforcements."
What kind of soldiers? What kind of weapons? What kind of reinforcements? The GOC. The Epsilon 11 aren't us, but in these trying times, they'll have to be. Anyways, yeah, there's a lot more I could go into with that, but I'll save it for a dedicated lore video. Back to the teaser, shall we? So the whole trailer we're zooming in on this box, which presumably holds this mysterious SCP item. Let's read this here label. From storage site 80 Australia. This shipment contains an object which originally belonged to Site 45, then 44. It's been sitting in 44's private vault at our site for a few months. No one else wants it. Please give it a good home this time. From director Ruben Rosius. This further iterates that whatever this is, it was originally stored at Site 45. This also confirms that, whatever it is, has just been sitting around in a private vault, not a containment chamber. It could potentially be alive as well, as director Ruben wishes to give it a good home, which wouldn't really be necessary for a non-sentient being. Finally, we have the shipping contents, which, of course, have been cut off. From what we can immediately make out, it's an SCP, there is one of it, and there's something of note about it. Okay, we have the audio, visuals, and background laid out. Now, you're probably internally screaming, especially if you sat through the whole lore section, Icey, what is this SCP? Well, to be blunt, it's probably SCP-127, the living gun. Now, what exactly leads me to this conclusion? Let's start with our first piece of evidence that we got. It's an SCP contained at Site 45 at some point. SCP-127 clears. Second piece of evidence, it didn't try to escape Site 45 during its siege. Well, yeah, it's a gun. Third piece of evidence, it's something that can just sit in a vault and not escape. I reiterate. Gun. This also goes with it having some sort of a live factor to it, as it needs a proper place to call quote-unquote home. Finally, if we take another look at that label that we looked at earlier and do some editing magic, yeah, that works. So, mystery solved, right? Almost. What exactly are these new anomalous properties tied to it? Well, I don't know. Northwood tends to do this thing where they change an SCP up quite a bit from the original lore and explain it away by saying it mutated and stuff along those lines. I could sit here and try to guess away on what'll be different about it, but instead I want to pass that on to you guys. I've shared my theories with you, let me hear some back. But that's been me. Have a nice day, everyone.